साहब मिसबाह यज़दी की शख्सियत इस्लामी इंकलाब के अंदर बुनियादी जो थ्योरिसियन है उनमें इनका शुमार होता है। और कल जैसा कि अर्ज़ किया था कि आज जिस मौजू के लिए जिस शख्सियत को हमने दावत दी है, ये आयतुल्लाह मिसबाह यज़दी रहमतुल्लाह अलैह के उन बुनियादी ख़ास शागिर्दों में से एक हैं कि जो जहाँ पर हौज़े के अंदर इस्लामी उलूम के ऊपर इनकी ग्रिप है, इसी तरीके से असरी उलूम में जो सोशल साइंसेज़ हैं उसके हवाले से भी इनका एक बुनियादी किरदार है। और जैसा कि हमने इनके तारुफ में लिख के भी भेजा है कि पीएचडी हैं मैकगिल यूनिवर्सिटी मॉन्ट्रियल कनाडा से, और इसी तरीके से इमाम खुमैनी एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट में असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर के उन्वान से वहाँ पर अपनी खिदमात साल से अंजाम दे रहे हैं। हमारी आज की नशिस्त जैसा कि लिख के भी भेजा गया था इंग्लिश में ही रहेगी, और गुफ्तगू के अख्तिताम पर सवाल जवाब का मौका भी दिया जाएगा। दरमियान में कोशिश कीजिएगा कि कोई इमोजीज भेजना या लिखना, मैसेजेस लिखना, इससे परहेज़ किया जाए और नहायत इन्हिमाक से गुफ्तगू की तरफ तवज्जो की जाए। तो मैं अभी दावत दूंगा हुज्जतुल इस्लाम वल मुस्लिमीन और महमूद नमाजी से इनको कि वो अपनी गुफ्तगू से हमें मुस्तफ़ीद फरमाएं।
In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful, peace be upon Muhammad and his progeny, particularly Imam Mahdi, peace of Allah, all of his angels and prophets upon him and his ascendant and descendant family. Dear brothers and sisters, I am going to talk about Allama Misbah and the production of monotheistic science. Let me go through definition of some words and some items in our discussion. Religion and epistemology of religion. One of the meanings of religion is retribution and punishment, as we see in verse 4 of chapter Hamd of Quran, Malik Yawmuddin. The famous meaning of religion is a collection of fundamental creeds and particular provisions and regulations that with the target of gaining access to happiness is presented. In this usage, in addition to divine customs like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, humans had made customs like idolatry, Marxism, Buddhism, also are called religion. Right religion, it is important. Right religion is the one that, with imitating it, one human truly get to happiness. Our meaning of religion in this discussion is right religion. I mean Islam. Religion is constituted of two parts, creeds and regulations. The most fundamental teachings of the part of religion, creeds, can summarize to three axes: monotheism, prophethood or prophecy, and resurrection. Creeds, part of religion, include realities that are perceived either through direct knowledge by presence or through propositions that are from the type of existent and inexistent. Regulations, part of religion, are generally explained with sentences of the type of must and must not. The regulations of religion can be divided to devotional, individual, familial, and social with different areas. Religious knowledge means knowledge to religion. Epistemology of religion, examining religious knowledge, is discussing the possibility, types, ways, scopes, and validity of these knowledges. Religious knowledges in respect to the fact that they are knowledges in the discussion of absolute epistemology, they are common with the rest knowledge. Religious knowledge, whereas they are of the type of knowledge by presence or self-evident or through certain argument, return to self-evident propositions hold highest degree of epistemic value. Keep in mind that the degree of the credit of rest religious knowledges is determined on the basis of other certain knowledges. Religious knowledge is necessary condition for happiness, and therefore distinction of true religious knowledge from the wrong one is important as to the rate of reception of happiness and abstaining of adversity. Ways of religious knowledges and their credibility according to Ayatollah Misbah. Religious knowledge is obtained from the same way as other knowledges. Knowledge by presence to Allah, knowledge to internal states in relation to Allah, religious contemplation, illumination, revelation, and religious experience are meanings, application of, and of witnessing in religious knowledges. Seeing and beholding miracles, hearing directly or indirectly the words of innocent, and also seeing these words in religious sources are meanings, application, senses, evidences of employing feeling way in religious knowledges. Perception and definition of religious concepts and proving main religious creeds like monotheism, Allah's attributes, necessity of resurrection, necessity of prophecy, chastity of prophets, and rightfulness of Islam are products and earnings of intellection in the area of religious knowledges. The content of Quran, words of beloved, honorable Prophet of Islam, and innocent Imams are behaviors and manner of those great and honorable persons, and also the history of Islam are received in our hands through narration. Documenting and relying on the words of religious specialities, such as innocence, jurisprudence, and commentators, are meanings or senses, evidences of authority. Most of religious knowledges that are obtained formerly through the way of remembrance, we remember them in another time. If religious intuition, devoid from interpretation, holds higher rates of credibility. Contrary to religious experiences and contemplations of other, illumination that gained by innocence, also revelation of prophecy, because of the chastity of their receivers in respect to what they narrate, it is also immune of wrong. If the conditions of benefiting of feeling instruments are observed, religious knowledges hold high credibility. I repeat, if the conditions of benefiting of feeling instruments are observed, religious knowledges hold high credibility. If the conditions of benefiting of feeling instrument are observed, religious knowledges hold high credibility. If religious intellectual argument is reasoning, religious knowledges obtained from it is certain and completely reputable. The credibility of narrative religious knowledge is related to or depend on the rate of credibility that can hold narrators or narrators of traditions, and to the strength of guidance of words of traditions on their content, and also the credit of other witnesses that we have on the correctness of the consent of the traditions. The chastity of innocent guarantee complete epistemic value for the authority. But the credit of authority of no innocent specialties depends on rate of their specialty and the credit of the way gaining knowledge. The credit of remembrance in religious knowledges depend on primary knowledge and the rate of verification of working instrument and the power of remembering in general and in respect to remembered knowledge. This agreement in between religious knowledge with every other knowledge's universal rule is that permanently certain knowledge refers to uncertain knowledge. And in this agreement in between two uncertain knowledges, the possibility of truth of the knowledge that holds more credit is more. I go to one of the very, very important problems. Really, no problems prophets facing with people like this problem. Multiple takes, قرائت‌های مختلف. And it is one of the most crucial problems in the whole world of Islam. People finding themselves that can interpret it Quran as their knowledge, as their understanding. So here Ayatollah Misbah take this problem into his concentration and provide the answer to the multiple takes. The meaning of multiple takes is that we recognize opposing and parallel perspective of a text refutable. One of the reasons of multiple takes is philosophical hermeneutics. Taking advantages of philosophical hermeneutics to prove credibility of multiple texts of religious texts, aside from the fact that it is a causeless and paradoxical base and necessitate revelation, it follows meaningless of kindness and religious texts, and being nonsense of mission of prophets, and meaningless of religious regulation, and obedience and disobedience. Some scholars relying on symbolization of the language of religion are reputed multiple texts of religious texts. And the answer is that symbolization of the language of religion, if we recognize the religion, if we recognize religious language as symbol, make a religion's answering to fundamental problems, and those texts being guidance to prosperity way impossible. Let repeat the answer of Ayatollah Misbah to the symbolization of the language of religion. Ayatollah Misbah says that symbolization of the language of religion, if we recognize religious language as symbol, symbolization of the language of religion makes a religion's answering to fundamental problems, and those texts being guidance to prosperity way impossible. Some supporters of the theory of multiple texts take the existence of esoteric meaning of Quran verses and evidence for the trueness of their esoteric meaning of Quranic verses, and evidence for the trueness of their view, while having esoteric meaning of Quran means the acceptance of Quran, the meaning in length for its verses that agrees with external meaning, and comprehending them also need particular characteristics. Some scholars, to confirm the theory of multiple takes, rely on the credibility of different sentences, judgment, and interpretation in kalam, in jurisprudence. They take it as an evidence to say that multiple takes is true. And the answer of Ayatollah Misbah to this problem, on methodological perspectives from religious texts are not refuted and disposing unchallenged, and in length perspectives are reputable in the sense that there is possibility of correctness of all of them with the intention of author. But in the case opposing horizontal perspectives means horizontal perspective, only one of them can be the intention of the author, and the credibility means that it is possible that all of them accord to reality. The credibility of different views of jurists and interpreters in different cases, such as the possibility of understanding, of relying, of reality, methodical, or having method of inferring and interpreting the meaning of the credibility of different perspectives is completely different with the theory of multiple takes. This is two things. The difference of opinion in between scholars of Islamic sciences in perceiving religious texts results from factors such as different in scope of research sources, different in credibility of document of tradition, difference in the comprehension of the meaning of the words, and the considering and not considering of some context. Some people raise another problems, and they say, why you believe that Islam is the only true religion? Why Christianity is not true religion? Why Judaism is not true religion? Here, Ayatollah Misbah answered to this problem. First of all, religious pluralism, or the meaning of religious pluralism is theory that recognizes different religions, more common, monotheism, non-monotheism, original and distorted, and refutes all of them. Religious pluralism is a theory about truthfulness, legitimacy, and credibility of religious. It is different with the salvation, soteriology, pluralism, and also with behavior pluralism. Custom theory of Christianity was exclusivism, according to which only Christian religion was right, and non-Christian have no right to go to heaven. Karl Rahner, 1940 to 1984, to compensate part of the problem that exclusivism theory, bearing this designed inclusivism theory, according to which also rightness belonged only to Christianity, the good pious of followers of other religions are recognized titleless and are deserve to go to heaven. John Haig, 1922 to 2012, is designed religious pluralism in reaction to Christian inclusivism theory problems and quarrel and dispute in between Christians. One of the bases of Haig's theory is that it is impossible to have access to truth as it is, and our comprehension of the right is mixed with mental forms and causeless and paradoxical base which necessitates relativism. Another foundation of Hayek's theory is recognizing religious language symbols that negate religious guidance. Hayek recognized salvation as the transmission of personality in which transformation to the truth becomes certain. This is what Hayek recognized it in ceremonies, recognize it as a truth and essence of religious. He also declares that creeds and ceremonies are derivative and secondary religious affairs that arising and resulting from individual different mentality in facing to religion. It is unknown that how Hayek discovered the truth of religion. This is the answer of the Lemespa to the theory of Hayek and religious pluralism. First, it is unknown that how Hayek discovered the truth of religion, why he declared that we having access to the truth is impossible. Recognition of creeds and ceremonies as derivative and secondary religious affairs necessitates negation of all religious, also negates religious outputs in answering important questions and practical guidance into happiness. Hayek, another answer to Hayek. Hayek doesn't recognize religious teaching as he does scientific and philosophical theories qualified to be right or wrong. He also is hopeless of solving theoretical dispute in between religion, while we can evaluate most of the opposing confirmation of religions on the basis of rational, self-evident principle. Rational, self-evident principle are the main way that we may answer to the philosopher of those philosophers that believe in religious pluralism. While Islam, there exists no coherence between salvation and trueness and peaceful coexistence. While Islam opposes pluralism in rightness, he recognized, in addition to all Muslims, that undertaking their duties, the followers of all other heavenly religions in the time of their religion, validity, and also defective ignorance. According to Islamic teaching, practical pluralism is particular condition is accepted. In particular condition is accepted. As the Prophet traveled to Medina, he makes sulh, he makes peace with the Christian who living in Medina. He makes peace with the Judaism who live in Medina. This is the practical pluralism. According to Islam teaching, according to Islamic teaching, practical pluralism in particular condition is accepted. Some supporters of religious pluralism take hold of general guidance of Allah, recognizing that necessary of being the name of Allah as a guide, leader, meaningful, is that one recognize our other religious just. The necessity of being Allah as a God isn't being guided all man or the most of them. For general guidance of God is merely being means that Allah has prepared internal as well as external field of guidance. But most of the people does not benefit from this guidance. This is one problem that makes that in defense of religious pluralism. They say that general guidance of God, of Allah, it means that God helped guiding all people. Why you say I am the one that guide people, or a Christian is the one that guide people? God is the guidance of the people. Why do you see? If you raise this question, the answer is that the necessity of being Allah as a God isn't being guided all men or the most of them. For general guidance of Allah is merely being means that Allah has prepared internal as well as external field of guidance. But most of the people does not benefit from this guidance. Another question they raised to help the idea of religious pluralism is that verses of Quran in which recognize followers of other religion being rewarded, relating to salvation and soteriology, not truthness. In addition to that, many verses of Quran indicate non-trueness of other religions. The verses 62 of the Surah Baqarah, God says that we guide the Judaism, Christianity, and other group of people to the right path. So Quran, they raise this question. The Quran itself indicate that God help people to guide in all religion. Why you say Islam is the only religion in this time? The answer is that by the number of people we have different ways to Allah. This is another question. الطرق إلى الله بعدد أنفاس الخلق. Isn't the content of any religion, any tradition? This is not hadith. The intention of those who use this confirmation is that there exist different ways to know Allah, or they may mean that everyone has internally and by knowledge, by present, a way to know Allah. In this hadith, الطرق إلى الله بعدد أنفاس الخلائق. Here he does not say الطرق إلى الله بعدد الشرائع. بعدد الشرائع. He does not say بعدد الشرائع. He is saying that بعدد أنفاس الخلائق. It means that there exist different ways to know Allah, or they may mean that everyone has internally and by knowledge, by present, a way to know Allah. So by this talking, we reach to the title of our discussion, that Allama Misbah says that monotheistic science is a production of religion. Religion is that product monotheistic science. Those sciences that are based on the basis of monotheism, prophecy, hereafter day, these knowledges are monotheistic science. And here Ayatollah Misbah made a definition of religion, a definition of pluralism, a definition of different multiple takes, and take all this discussion to say to us that religion of Islam is the only religion in this time that make people in the right path. This does not mean that Christianity or Judaism in their time are not reputable. No, all of religion in their time, the true religion and the true followers of those religions in their time are good, and all of them are on the right path. But after the prophecy of Muhammad, all followers of all religion should follow the Islam religion, should follow the Prophet Muhammad. And the Islam, the only true religion after Prophet Muhammad is Islam. And Islam is the only way of rightness to the heaven and to the salvation and happiness. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
السلام علیکم. خوب موضوع سے متعلق اگر آپ لوگوں کا کوئی سوال وغیرہ ہو تو ابھی آپ یہاں پر پوچھ سکتے ہیں. موضوع سے متعلق اگر آپ میں سے کسی کا کوئی سوال ہو تو ابھی آپ یہاں پوچھ سکتے ہیں. تو 24 25 دوران vacation to online جس YouTube عامیان. آپ میں سے کسی کا کوئی سوال ہے موضوع سے متعلق؟ جی. موضوع سے متعلق اگر کوئی سوال ہے، آپ جو افراد ابھی یہاں موجود ہیں. ظاہراً آج سوال نہیں ہے آپ میں سے کسی کا موضوع سے متعلق سوشل سائنسز کے حوالے سے ہو یا استاد مصباح کی شخصیت کے اس پہلو کے حوالے سے، تو ابھی آپ پوچھ سکتے ہیں. چند ایک منٹ استاد مزید میسر ہیں.